Good morning, class. My name is Mustafa.
Trishan.
Anmol.
Brett.
And today we're going to present on how to inspire others to do more. So just an overview for our slides is that first it's going to be an introduction, then what makes a person inspiring, so strategies for inspiring others, find inspiration from others, and at the end, conclusion. So introduction. So a quick question for all of you. How many of you guys have been ever inspired by people around you, like your mentors, professors, your parents, siblings? Oh, a number of you guys. All right, that's good. And so how do you know that what is inspiration? What caused that inspiration? Does anyone know? All right, I guess I'll just say it out. So inspiration is something that makes you creativity. Like it's a mindset that makes a person creative. And it's a spark that you see in that person, which causes you to be inspired by that person. And then you make your goals, and you set up your goals, like personal. So you also enable the like others by raising the standard, like the high bar. You raise the standard of it, like enabling to know what your goals are and how you were inspired by the other people. So now I'm going to pass it to Trishan.
Thank you, Mustafa. So what makes an inspiring person? Well, to be inspiring, you have to be passionate about what you're asking others to do. Caring about what you're saying and what you're asking other people to do helps others see your enthusiasm about a certain topic, goal, or issue. If you're not passionate about what you're trying to inspire or motivate others, then why should they be inspired by it in the first place? In other words, why should they work harder? Or why should they prioritize this goal or that goal when you don't seem too eager about it either? If you show passion through what you're trying to do and what you're trying to motivate others to do, then your audience will feel the same way. Through shared passion, work will be done, deadlines will be met, and satisfaction will be achieved. Secondly, as much as you care about the message that you're trying to deliver, you should also care about your audience. Learn to show that you're grateful for your team. Be open to criticism and give credit where credit's due. Ask your audience or the people that you work with their perspective about a certain topic or issue. Interacting with your audience establishes a relationship, which shows that you're not just focused on getting people to work, but you also care about knowing the people that you work with. I briefly mentioned the idea of asking people their own inputs and their perspectives. And that's another asset to being an inspiring person, listening. An inspirational leader truly listens to what is being said to them. You can do this by being open to feedback and encouraging others to share their ideas and to collaborate. By doing this, you're not only showing that people are important and valuable, but you're also setting a unity by motivating others to contribute their ideas into reaching a common goal. The three characteristics that I mentioned, passion, caring, and listening, are only 3 out of many traits that creates an inspiring person. But in order to effectively be an inspirational leader, one must execute what they say and do. Ever heard of the quote, practice what you preach? Well, in order to inspire others to do more, you must show them by doing it yourself. When you lead by example, you're setting the expectations as well as behaviors and goals of your audience. Essentially, when you lead by example, you're inspiring others, you're also leading to inspire. Now, I'll pass off the presentation to Brett.
Thank you, Tristan. So for the next portion of our presentation, we'll be discussing how to inspire others. And these strategies, first I'll start with challenging people's strengths and weaknesses. So first off, you aren't gonna the best key advice from this first point is to first start by acknowledging their strengths and then moving on to what they're weak at. So an example of what this may look like would be, I like how you finish your work on time, but we need to have better communication within the group in order to avoid duplication of work. And so that goes a long way for inspiring others to do more by first acknowledging, hey, you did this right, but in the future we could do something better. And then that kind of goes on to the next point as well for building up someone's confidence, but also setting the bar high, because in order for someone to achieve greatness, you need to like let them know, hey, what are you doing right, and let them know what they could work on to be the best person that they could be. The next portion would be communication, and for this part, I highlighted active listening and delivering your words clearly, and active listening would help for kind of not being an authoritative figure to them, and just leveling playing field between the two of you, because no one's going to listen to someone just barking orders at them. And for delivering words clearly, this goes a long way to as far as just exuding confidence and inspiring others to do what you want them to do, because they're just going to shut their ears off if they can't, like, if they don't trust what you're saying, basically. And then for our last point, if it isn't positive, don't say it. That pretty much goes back to the previous point, it builds off of all three of those points, I mean. And you don't want to like say something that you don't want to be the negative person in the group, just not saying anything or contributing in any way. So now I'll hand it off to Amol, who's going to talk about finding strategies for others.
Thank you, Britt. So I feel nowadays we're moving into a space where it's like you have to be self-motivated and self-inspired to get anything done. But personally, we all believe that it's good to find inspiration from others. So the first point that I'm gonna go on is be open to feedback. So get feedback from people you trust, who you know will give you their honest opinion. And when they support your ideas, you know you have someone who, no matter what, will support you in what you're doing. And then the second point would be win or learn. So in that, if you fail at something, don't walk out with your head down. You know, just know that you learned something from this experience. If you're constantly telling yourself like, oh, I did this, oh, I did that, like your inspiration will obviously start just, you know, your inspiration and confidence will start going down. So if you go into anything new that you're trying, either you're gonna win at this or you're gonna learn something new about yourself. So if you go about that way, your inspiration will still, and your confidence will still be at a high level. So the third point would be surrounding yourself with success. That's self-explanatory. If you're with a bunch of Debbie Downers, guess what? You're gonna be a Debbie Downer as well. If you're with a bunch of people who strive for success and who will uplift you in being the best person you could be, you'll be the best person you could be, because you don't want to fail your group or whoever your friends group, your group of friends and whatever. You don't want to fail them and them look down on you like, why did you do this? No, they will strive for success, and so will you. And then my last point would be look for inspiration from others. So me personally, I used to think like, I used to have that mindset of like, I need to be self-inspired, self-motivated. I can't be relying on anybody. But then I sat back and I reflected, and I was just at a point where I was like, I wasn't happy. So I started looking for inspiration in others. And like the person that I looked up to was my dad. So I'm first generation born here. So I know my dad's whole story and what he's been struggling through. So he's about to be 60 now. And he's still working like he's in his 20s. Like this morning, I woke up at 5:30, showered, came downstairs at 6 a.m. to eat breakfast and get to school. He was already out the house. Like he's already out the house at 4 a.m. He's a truck driver. I don't know if he drives a truck. So he's out the house at 4 a.m. I'm gonna get back from school at 4 p.m. and he's still gonna be out there driving the truck. So I just look at him and his hard work and use it as motivation for myself to succeed in school, make good grades, and know in the future that I could take care of my father just as good as he's taking care of me. So I really believe that you should look for inspiration in others. And I'm going to pass it back to Mustafa to close it out.
Thank you, Anmol. So in conclusion, I just want to say, like, if your actions inspire others to dream more, to do more, and you become more, you are a role model already. And you do inspire others. Like in the beginning, I said, you see that spark, be that spark which inspires people, which motivates people, because you need to have that spark in yourself. Thank you. Any questions?